Shalom Tova Uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amecha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha.
Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha.
Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. It feels hard to wish you Hashana Tova today, a good year. After the year we've had as a people, the murder of Samantha Wool a year ago and the shooting of the Bebouts over the summer, and then everything happening in Israel, this is not the sermon I wanted to give. I wanted to talk to you about how much we overcame and how quickly the war came to an end and that all the hostages were returned and yet, here we are with another barrage that happened just 48 hours ago. So I want to start by saying I'm not going to give you my opinion on what should be happening or what should have happened in Israel this year. I am not a geopolitical expert. I have never claimed to be. And I, like many of you, am feeling some complicated and deep feelings about what's going on. Instead, I'd like to tell you what I've observed, both inside and outside of our community, about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. We are unable to have the hard conversations we need to have about this subject. We aren't listening to each other. We aren't hearing each other. Families are being torn apart, and the global Jewish family is coming apart. Maybe you've had a friendship end, or a place that used to feel safe that no longer does. And I'm noticing, most of all, that people of different generations are having the most difficult time talking about this with one another. You may be sitting here today with someone you love deeply, but disagree so vehemently that you have decided, perhaps for the health of your relationship, not to speak about this issue. Perhaps not just this issue. Perhaps it's the election or all politics in general or something else. Maybe you decided without them to avoid these issues because having a relationship is important. And you need a way to be able to be present without them pressing on a pain point for you. So you've decided to agree to disagree. Now, Jews, as it turned out, invented agree to disagree, and preserving the minority opinion, and holding space for disagreement. The books that contain our laws codify our disagreement, in fact. The arguments and disagreeing are a part of the laws. It's not just a here's how we got here. Think about our two most famous disagreeers, Hillel and Shammai. Hillel says we should light the Hanukkah candles this way. Shammai says we should light them this way. And both opinions are preserved. And I'll probably teach more about it when it gets close to Hanukkah, so get ready for that. But what does it mean that we have, one, preserved those opinions, and two, made sure to learn them both? Even though the laws are according to Hillel, a voice comes out of the sky to tell them that's the voice of God. I'll tell you that story a different time. We don't just ignore the one that we don't follow. We hold them both as pieces of tradition, even if one directly contradicts the other. They debate, but they never degrade each other. They disagree about the truth of Torah and how it should be practiced, but they never accuse their colleagues of being bad Jews or suggesting that they don't belong in the community. So, in this particular case of a very difficult moment where lives are on the line and it feels like the heart and soul of Israel are at stake, it seems dangerous to automatically shut down the people you love because the opinions that they have about this particular issue do not align with your own. We have become conditioned that there is only one answer to what's happening in Israel and are quick to label someone a good or bad Jew if they disagree with us. Now, this is a dangerous label, number one, that I hear people giving themselves all the time, so I don't appreciate that. Knock it off. But it alienates us from our fellow Jews and from the people that we love. It is also antithetical to who we are as a people who value debate and argument and ambiguity. Now, you know I'm the queen of nuanced viewpoints and holding multiple truths and listening about how our bodies are responding to what's happening. Well, I might not be the queen of it, but I'm definitely the rabbi of it. So, let me be the first to say that this whole sermon may be feeling threatening in your body. Perhaps your fight or flight response kicked in. You might be feeling like I'm attacking you, or like I just don't get how painful and dangerous this whole situation is, or like I don't really care about what's happening in Israel. But I hope you'll take a deep breath and stay with me. It is our responsibility to draw on the resilience of our ancestors and what we have deep down as we face these difficult conversations. It is our responsibility to turn toward them, not away from them. Hearing someone, especially someone we love, say something that we feel invalidates our pain or does not seem to match the urgency of the moment we are in, or perhaps even questions our very existence, it is difficult. It's even heartbreaking. And yet, it is our responsibility to face these difficult conversations and have them, especially with the people we love. As I have learned from many teachers, including Devin Spire, the artist and author who will join us next week with an incredible art exhibit called 18+1 on October 8th, as we mark a year from the 7th. They teach we don't just have to rely on ancient ancestors like Abraham and Isaac, who we read about, to learn about resilience and living in discomfort. We can be our own ancestors. And people who are alive, who are building something and shaping the future, are also ancestors. So, I'd like to share with you something from an ancestor, a young woman named Dana, who sings with the Jerusalem Youth Chorus. The Jerusalem Youth Chorus is a choral and dialogue program for Palestinian and Israeli youth in Jerusalem. Their mission is to provide a space for these young people from East and West Jerusalem to grow together in song and dialogue. You may have seen them on America's Got Talent. They're incredible. You have to look them up. Dana from the Jerusalem Youth Chorus said this: "For us today to be able to sit in the same room in the same circle with someone that shares opinions not only opposite of ours, but that might completely invalidate yours and might completely go against the foundation of your beliefs or your moral compass as a human is something that requires great strength," she said before a performance. Before we look at this choir and say, wow, they're singing together, everyone unite, conflict over, I really want us to understand the strength emotionally, mentally, and physically that it takes for each singer to be here and for each singer to share their truth in this amazing journey in the choir. I've been able to embrace discomfort, and only there did I find growth. It takes vulnerability to listen to someone with whom you fundamentally disagree. And it takes guts to just listen and not double down on your very different opinion. It's hard to stay open to experience something that feels like an attack of the very core of who you are. Now, to be clear, I am not suggesting that you should have these conversations with the person on the street with the flag or just some guy, right? I'm talking about listening to the people who you love, who you are already in a relationship with, who might have a different opinion than your own. I'm talking about parents and children and grandparents and grandchildren. Listen. Hear them with the ear of knowing that these are your ancestors, your teachers, the people from whom we have learned the greatest lessons. Any parent will tell you that. I called on us at Pesach to release the need to be right, to win the argument, and instead to focus on what we share, our desire for liberation, freedom, safety, and justice, and peace for all people. So in our family, we have this joke. We say, "You're all entitled to my opinion." And there's more than one Harris who talks a lot. So I come by this trait honestly. And if you're one of those Harrises listening, I bet you know who you are. But this type of monologuing without making space for others, or even worse, villainizing the people we love for viewing this conflict differently than we do, that is dangerous. Let's not just act from fear around this issue, but let's learn from Dana, our ancestor, from the Jerusalem Youth Chorus. Let's embrace discomfort, and find growth. Shana Tova, everybody. May it be a year of true peace for all of us, even in the discomfort.